By the end of this video, you'll have all the information that you need to use Procreate in order to bring your designs to life 5 times faster than what it would take you to draw them on paper. This video is going to be rapid fire with 20 tips back to back, all with demos. Let's get into it. So the first thing I like to do when I open up a brand new canvas is I figure out what part of the body I'm going to be designing a tattoo for. So in this instance, we've decided that we're going to put a tattoo on a leg. So I get an image of that body part, I put it on the canvas, so then that way when I draw the design, it flows with the shape of the body. Once I've decided on the part of the body that the design is going to go on, I've drawn in my flow lines. The next step is to get a reference. There's 2 ways you can put in a reference. First way is that you can use the built-in reference tool on Procreate itself. So you just go to the wrench icon, you hit canvas, and then you turn on reference. So you move this around by hitting the little bar at the top of the screen, and then if you select canvas, that'll show you what's already on the canvas. If you select image, then you can import an image and then you can use that as your guide for what you're going to draw. This is really great if you're doing realism and you just need to zoom in on details. You can kind of just move this piece around. Now, if you're doing something in Neotrad, I like to put the reference directly on the canvas itself. So the way that we do that, we go over to Photos, press, and we hold the image with our left hand, we swipe to the left, and then we move that over to the canvas and then we drop it in, and that removes the background for us, which makes it way faster to start adding to the drawing. It makes it a lot cleaner as well. Once we've got the reference image there, then we just turn down the opacity, and then once that opacity is lower, we can start drawing over the top of it and create the basis of our sketch. And you can see that by having that actual image of a real stone Hannya mask, I'm able to get the basis of that design or all the proportions right much faster. Once we've done our sketch, then we want to throw in our outlines. Okay, so then we just go over all those rough little lines that we've put in. Finally, we put our blacks and then our colors, and then that gives us the fully rendered design that flows nicely with the shape of the body, because we drew it with that placement in mind in the beginning, so it naturally fits a lot better. Next up, we're going to be looking at drawing symmetrical designs. So when you do this, you absolutely want to be using the assisted drawing feature. So if you just go to the wrench icon, hit drawing guide, edit the drawing guide, change that to symmetry, and then we want to increase the thickness of that so it's nice and easy to see. Boom, and then on that particular layer, so we want to turn drawing assist on, it's going to show it on the other side as well, so then it's perfectly even on both sides. So if you're midway through a drawing and you realize that you've run out of space, you've got 2 options. You can crop and resize it, or you can just adjust the size of the drawing itself. So if you want to change the size of the canvas, all we've got to do is go to settings, canvas, and then we go crop and resize, and then you can literally just move it to whatever size that you need it, and then all of a sudden you have a much bigger area to work with. If you want to keep it the same size, then you just have to adjust sizing or placement of the design itself. So if you just need to extend the size of the dagger, then you can just pull that down. If you only want to increase the size of the blade, then you just zoom in very close, lengthen the blade without actually lengthening the handle. And that's really useful because if you're drawing like a big Neotrad piece or something like that, and you just need to adjust the length of a dagger or make a hand a little bit bigger, it's very useful for doing small adjustments like that make the overall design work. Now, if you don't need to adjust the size of the design, but you just need to reposition it, that's also very easy to do. You just have to hit the selection icon up the top, and then that little green dot will allow you to rotate that design into whatever position that you need it to be. You can also flip stuff. If you've got something that's facing the wrong way, very easy to fix. You just hit the selection tool, grab the part that you want to move, hit the selection icon, and then we can flip that horizontally or flip that vertically depending on what position you need it in. And if you need to change the specific shape of something, you can warp it. So if you go all the way across to the warp section, you can dramatically change the shapes of whatever object that you're working with. And this is great for making either leaves or just whatever it is fit into these awkward tiny gaps that you've got throughout a piece. That's a really good way of doing that as well. All right, so that's set up in sketching. Now let's talk about line weight, because this is where Procreate really shines, because you can get perfect lines without any shakes in them very easily. Let me show you how. So when you're drawing, if your lines look like this and they're all shaky and not even and clean, it's because you're not using the streamline feature on the brush. So if you click on the brush and then you go to stabilization on the left, we go to streamline and we crank that all the way up to the top. Then all of a sudden, drawing very clean lines gets a whole lot easier. But even with that, when you're trying to do perfect curves and circles and shapes, it can still be a little bit difficult. So what we can do is we can rely on the shape tool. So we draw a shape and then we hold it and then we see that it just makes it perfect. Okay, what we can even do is we can then edit that shape, and then we can move it around, or move the different parts of it around, so then that way it's exactly what we need, and we can clean it up if needed. So then that way when we go around, we do the rest of it, it's much easier. And you can see that you can adjust the shapes of these lines. You can fit them in just about anywhere. Even when it's a straight line, you can turn it into an arc. Now, if you're drawing perfect circles or ovals or any other shape, all you've got to do is just draw a circle shape, hold it, and now it's going to be a little bit uneven. So if you just tap the screen, that turns it into a perfect circle. Same with like a triangle. If you just draw it and then you connect it, then you get a nice perfect triangle. Another thing that I like about Procreate is by having different brush sizes, I'm able to correlate that to the needles that I use when I'm tattooing. So you can see in this design how I've got two very distinct liner sizes. We've got a nice thick one just here, and then we've got also a nice thinner one just there. That tells me when I'm tattooing which needles that I need to switch to. So for example, for this thicker one, I'd use an 11 or a 14, and for this thinner one here, I'd either use a 7 or a 5. Now, in order to make sure that your line weights are consistent, this is very important. You can either get a pre-made brush set, which we've got just here, that has all these different sizes of brushes. They get progressively thicker. Or if you don't have that, then all you have to do is you just do a line, and then you tap the size icon, and then you hit plus, and that sets a preset. Okay, then you do another line next to it. You tap it again, hit the plus icon, and then you tap it a little bit lower and you hit the plus icon there. And then you've got 3 different sizes of the line weights that you can use throughout the entire piece and make it look consistent. All right, so now that we're done with the line work, we're gonna move on to the shading. And the biggest thing that I see new artists mess up is that when they shade, they treat it like they're drawing on paper, whereas they don't realize that Procreate has a lot of tools to make the shading a lot easier. Now, when I'm finally done with the line work layer, I turn off the sketch, and then I want to work on starting to shade it. So the way that I do that is I pick out my line work layer, I make that a reference, and then I lock it, and then I also duplicate it. Now, this is really important because it's like insurance, okay? If you mess up your line work and then you've only got one line work layer that's busted, you got to start again. Don't do that, okay? Have a spare, and then just take that extra one, just put it all the way down the bottom of your layers, so then if you ever need it later, you've got it right there. So now that I've made my line work layer the reference, what I want to do is put a layer beneath of that, and that's where my blacks are going to go. Now, the cool thing is, because I've got this solid line work that I've spent all that time creating, the shading is very easy. I just use the selection tool, I go up to that little ribbon, and I want to select automatic, and because I've selected the reference, it's going to pick sections from that layer in this next layer. So whenever I select something, it's going to only select that shape. And I can select multiple shapes throughout the entire design, and then all I've got to do is select my soft brush, and then we want to be drawing all the way out here, and then we just very gently put in some shades. And the bigger you make the brush, the more subtle and the more smooth that your gradients are going to be. And you can see it's easy to stay within the lines because you literally can't mess it up. It doesn't let you shade outside of that selection that you've made. The shading becomes very, very fast. Now, with that said, you're not always going to outline every single little detail in a design, so sometimes you'll want to freehand select stuff. So if we go to the selection tool again, we go to freehand, okay, what we can do is we can make little shapes, okay, throughout the entire design, and then we just connect them, and we can add some really cool patterns without there being a harsh line around it, and we can get a nice gradient. Or if we want to do like, you know, some textured stuff, it just makes it much, much easier. So you can see I've just put all these cool little textures throughout the forehead of the Hanyu mask. I didn't need to put a harsh outline all around the outside of it, so I get a nice softer look that's great for textures. And now we're going to start working on the color, and this absolutely drove me insane when I started using an iPad because I could not figure out, whenever I did my line work and then I shaded next to it, I'd have these awkward little white pixels next to my line work. I'm going to show you how to fix that in the next 2 seconds. So you can see that when we're doing the color, all right, there's white little pixels appear all the way between the line and the color. Well, all you gotta do to fix that is when you select the selection tool, you press and then you hold down, you'll see a little bar at the top of the screen, and that number, the selection threshold, is increasing. We wanna put that as close to 100 as we can without it spilling over into the rest of the designs. And once we've done that, it'll fit nice and snug, and it will get all of those little gaps, and you'll have solid saturation throughout the entire piece. All right, so next up, we're gonna take a look at blending colors together. Now, it's a couple of different ways that you can do this, right? You can use the smudge tool. If we are gonna use the smudge tool, then there is something you wanna do first, whichever brush that you use for it. I recommend the soft brush. If we go on that and we go down to properties and then we go to smudge pull, we wanna pull that down, and then it's a lot easier to blend colors together. Now, this works much better for when there's not a whole lot of hard lines. Smudge tool is gonna work a lot better for that. You can still use it, but you're kind of slowing yourself down in a design like this because I've got so many lines everywhere. It's much easier just to use the second method, which is just gonna be the soft brush. So all you've got to do is paint something one color, and then if you want to make it brighter, then you just select the next lightest color, you turn down the opacity, and then it's very easy to transition from one color to the other. We can see how once we get like down here, it's super dark, and then once we get over here, it's much, much lighter. You can see the difference in the two purple tones just next to my finger. Using a soft brush is gonna be a lot faster than the Gaussian Blur when you've got lots and lots of lines. So another useful thing that we can do when we're blending is we can use the Alpha Lock tool. So this is not as well known as some of the other tools. So let's just say we want to try out a cool little effect with the colors, and we had like multiple different hues and they're all kind of like right next to each other. You don't have to draw them in super blended. All you've got to do is just hit the Gaussian Blur and just make sure that we've got the Alpha Lock enabled. So when we use the Gaussian Blur, it's not going to blur outside of the outline, but it'll just blur within the shape. So now smooth out all of those edges together, and you can get really cool effects by just having like different types of colors all throughout the design. Again, this is a bit more of a niche technique. You're not going to use this a whole lot, but it is still really cool to be able to do. Let's just say that you finish a design, you get to the very end of it, and you're not happy with the colors. You don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to do it all over again. It's very, very easy to change. All we've got to do is we select what parts of the design that we don't like. So then we're going to select those parts, and then we just go all the way up to hue, saturation, and brightness, and then we can actually change the hue of those eyes to be anything that we want, and we can test a whole bunch of different types of colors, and then once we find something that we like, then we can go with that. And then we can also turn up the brightness, we can turn up the saturation as well, and really make that either lighter or darker. You can basically change any color to any other color. Now, if you've still got a few of those white little pixels next to the lines, even after increasing the threshold, you can still go back and clear up those little gaps very, very quickly. All you've got to do, if you've separated it into 3 layers, your lines, your blacks, and your colors, very easy fix. You just go to your line work, you duplicate it, okay, and then you go to your black line works that you just duplicated, and then we want to go all the way to Gaussian Blur, and then we increase that by 2%. Not even that, 1% is more than enough. And then all you've got to do is just duplicate that a couple times, and that will close all the gaps that we had just before, because it gets a little bit thicker when you do the Gaussian Blur at 1%, but it doesn't get so thick that it just completely messes up the entire design. It's just enough to close all those gaps for you. Next thing I want to show you is how to use the multiply layer to add shadows. Let's just say that we've done like a multicolored piece like this. We've used the Alpha Lock and the Gaussian Blur. We've got all these cool little colors going through the piece. Okay, and we want to add shadows without having to switch between all those different colors. There's a few different ways we can do it. Okay, one of them is using the multiply layer. When you make a new layer, if you click on the letter, you've got all these different options. If you use multiply, then it just adds shading to the colors that are already there. It also keeps like some of the original pigment there. It's not like just putting black over it. So I'm going over this with like an indigo kind of blue to darken up this purple. We get a much more natural kind of like shadow. When you put black over colors, it overpowers it and it kind of kills the vibrancy. And you can see here how it still keeps some of the original hue. Even though I'm using like an indigo, if you look at this color here, it's like purple. And then over this color here, it's more of a violet. So multiply keeps some of the original color that was underneath. It just darkens it a little bit. All right, now when putting highlights into a design, less is often more, okay? I see a lot of new artists, they try and pack their design full of white to almost like save the tattoo at the end of the session. It never works. The more white that you put into a design, the less bright that it looks. So when I'm doing highlights, I like to make sure that they're below the outline layer, but above everything else. And I'm going to use a soft brush, and I'm gonna turn the opacity way, way down, and I'm only going to be very subtle with how much highlights that I put in, and also where I put them in. You'll see I only almost do like little lines for highlights. I don't go like absolutely crazy with it, because they're gonna look a lot brighter when you put less of them in. And you'll see as well how like I don't put 100% white saturated in, and we just stick to nice little thin lines. That's it. All right, so that's 20 tricks that you can use in Procreate while working on your tattoo designs. We've covered everything from how to use layers, reference photos, select and resize design elements, create perfect lines and curves, and how to blend with the selection tool and the Gaussian Blur tool, as well as how to add shadows and highlights. Now here's the test. Go and draw something using these tips that I've just given you. It's gonna feel clunky at first, but that is absolutely normal. But by your third design, your workflow is gonna be absolutely locked in. You're gonna be drawing faster, and the quality of your work will be better than anything that you could do on paper. If you'd like to get feedback on your tattoos from our team personally, the link to coaching is in the description just down below this video. And now that you know how to do better tattoos, make sure that you check out this video because it shows you how to take actual client requests and turn them into tattooable designs so you can start building your own portfolio.